Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Spider-Woman, issue number 1, volume 647 or so. Whatever. I don't even care. I don't even care. It's Spider-Woman. She's back. And this was a really fun story. All right, let's get into who made this comic book, and then we're going to break into... You know what? I'm not even going to... Look, I'm just going to hold this up and show you because, yeah, there's a lot of people involved in this comic book. I'm not getting into all of this, all right? Like, that's a freaking laundry list. Things, no, I got better things to do. Anyway, I do love that the backup story is called New Costume Who Dis because makes sense. Anyway, this was a really fun comic book. It starts off with, and I love the art in this. All right, so I got it. You know what? Just Carla Pacheco and Perry Perez. All right, that's the writer and the artist here. You get this opening image of her beating up on a bunch of sailors, but you don't get to see too much of what's going on. You do see that there's blood. There's a lot of blood, and it's not hers. So, okay, interesting. She's literally pissed off and hurting people in a, potentially permanent, life-threatening way. Okay, that's not typical for Jessica, but let's see what happens next. Or Jessica, she's been written lately. Anyway, but then it turns out that she's actually on board of this giant freaking super yacht with some super rich people. By super rich, I mean they're celebrating a sweet 16th birthday on a super yacht. And the birthday present is a car. And there's a backup present of an entire stable of ponies just in case she doesn't like the main present. I cannot get behind these characters, man. I hate these characters. I hate that. But they're written so well with the whole pretentious attitudes. All of them have their own opinions on life. Like they've already decided what's up and everything's just, oh, God, this again and blah, 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 blah. And daddy, like it was, yeah, even when the rich girl complains, it's a very valid complaint. And yet, I'm just like, nope, I can't feel any kind of empathy, man, because like these people are just super duper rich. Also, something interesting was said here about, because like the little girl, she's handicapped, she's in a wheelchair, she can't feel her legs, as she points out. Okay, very interesting. But the father says at one point, here it is, I told you that you won't need that soon. I'm going to find and then it's cut off. Oh, there's a story here. That's what you're telling me. I can't wait to find out what that's going to be. Because, like I said, I'm aboard this comic book. I'm sticking with this comic book. Hello, pull list, Spider-Woman, meet each other. Because this is hot, man. I dig on the new costume. It's interesting that she's in her original costume here, and then the backup story shows how she gets the costume. It's actually really important, even though it showed Strike Force, and I'm not a fan of the Strike Force comic book. It's a much more fun version. It's a much funner version of the Strike Force team, and it's only like about 3 pages worth of it, and then it gets into the actual story, and it has a very important direct correlation to the first story that's in here. So you really have to read them both. Anyway, but I'd also consider reading them in that order, even though they're technically in a flip order. Read it as you're expected to read it. This was fun. This was genuinely fun. Now I get something in the back here, a letter from Carla, sorry, I keep on saying Carlos Pacheco, because he's an actual person also in the Marvel Comics. Anyway, so Carla Pacheco, she, puts together this freaking story, and in the back, she's got this thing about how she was born on the same day that the first appearance of Spider-Woman, actually happened in the comics. Okay, that's actually kind of cool. All that being said, it was a really boring story. The only important part of that is that she's a fan of the character, and the character actually means a lot to her. Awesome. Because this was a really well-written story. It had humor where it had to be. It was intense where, you were hoping it was going to be. This really had the full range of emotions that you're looking for. And the character's written very well, like very believable. Seeing her like this, seeing her, she's got a super level of mad on about her. And then every so often she looks up and you see she's smiling, even though she's got this wicked headache and she really wants to hurt people. Damn it, I loved it. The action in this was great. She takes out a helicopter. When you see how she took out the helicopter, tell me you don't want to see this made into a movie. I'm saying. I'm saying. This would be awesome. If they're gonna make a television show about Spider-Woman, which they should, because Marvel can do that, all right? They can't do the movies. Leave it in the TV series, all right? Make a TV series and have it based on, like, if it's going to continue like this, have it based off of this, because this was hot. But anyway, she's in this, the funny thing I thought was she's in this costume, and the other costume that she was in that, was it Javier Rodriguez? I forget who's actually responsible for that, and Dennis Hopeless Hallam. Yeah, these guys were responsible for actually the costume switch, which was, okay, cool. And that costume is complete. When you read the comic book, you'll see what I mean. That was completely taken out of the equation, which I thought was odd. But whatever. We need a new costume for her? Okay. I actually really like, aka love, this costume. The other one, it looks cool and all. But no, I really like this costume. I really like this costume. I don't think that she needs a new costume. Stick with this freaking costume. Find a way to go back to this costume, please. But whatever. In the meantime, yeah, the other one, it's kind of cool. It kind of looks like a different take on Gwen Stacy's, Spider-Gwen, Gwendom. Her costume, the Ghost Spider, now she's called. God, she's got so many names. What's up with that? For a relatively new character, that's a lot of names. Anyway, it's kind of like a take on hers with, you can see it in the feet especially. That's when all of a sudden everything else seems to make sense. It's got a little bit of a Miles Morales vibe also. I see the influence. Anyway, I like this one. I'd rather just stick with the original red and yellow one, but whatever. We'll see. Maybe they'll grow on me. Like Gwendom's. Yeah, that's a freaky costume. Anyway, this was a hot comic book. I don't imagine anybody getting on this comic book and not enjoying it. To me, there was nothing, not one moment here that turned me off of the comic book. Even the super rich characters, which I couldn't stand seeing. I'm just like, you guys all suck. Ooh, and the Deadpool thing. Like, Carla really made this awesome because, like, you're going to have some rich, snotty kids. Have that person who was dressed in the freaking Deadpool costume in here. And what happens to that kid... A+. This was a hot comic book. Loved it. I think you guys will love it too. Turn the phone sideways, hit that like button for me. All right? And I'm out. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.